Here are 10 more random CrossFit things that are ingrained in my brain for some reason. Again, I came up with these with no reminders. I just sat down and wrote down anything that popped into my head. And these are a little bit more random, so keep track of how many you remember, and I'd love to hear in the comments. Number 1. Eddie Hall setting the Isabelle world record. This was at Strength and Depth maybe in 2019. Eddie Hall, the world's strongest man, came out and did Isabelle in like 50 something seconds. It was absolutely absurd. It was kind of a cool thing for him to do. And of course, it was just obnoxious how fast and strong he was. I also remember how much rage bait there was in the comments when this happened. Everybody was like, oh, this is how much of a joke CrossFit is. Eddie Hall can just come out and break your world record without even training. And it's just like, if you're a CrossFitter who goes online, you have to be so emotionally stable and not fall into rage bait so easily because there's so much rage bait around CrossFit. Number 2, Haley Adams qualified for the games online in 2020. And I remember she did like this little celebration thing where she was like jumping around. And I saw a clip somewhere where Rich was like, whoa, we're really going to have to work on your celebration. Because it was like kind of like little girly, like she was just like, yay.
We got to work on your celebration, though. That's the one thing we have to work on.
And I don't know why, but for some reason, just when I watched that, I was like, Rich, just let her be her. It was just like the weirdest thing. I was like, the way he said it felt so like he was being a hater. And I think he just meant it jokingly, but for some reason, when I watched it, in my head, I was like, he's just such a hater. Why can't people just let people be themselves? Number 3, there's a video of, I think it's Rich, Dan, and Matt doing, the workout was, if I remember correctly, 11, 9, 7, 5, 3, touch and go clean and jerks for max load, and you rest as needed between. Something about touch and go clean and jerks just clicked in my brain. Like I was watching, I think it was Matt ghost ride them on the way down, and I was obviously new to CrossFit when I was watching this video, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's how you touch and go. I think what I was doing before was like bringing to my shoulder and then bringing to my hip and then going down from there, and Matt would just come from the top and just like ghost ride it down, and for some reason when I saw it, it just clicked in my head. All right, number 4 is an Instagram post from a Brazilian CrossFit athlete named Kaique Cerveni. When I saw this video, I had just got back from Brazil for the first time. So my sister lives in Brazil, and I went and visited her for 2 months, and I knew nothing about Brazil or anything. I just showed up, and I kind of fell in love with Brazil a little bit. And then when I got home, I was like stumbled upon this guy who went to the games, and he had this like highlight reel with like this sick Brazilian song. And when I watched it, I loved it so much. It was like the coolest thing ever to me, which I went back and rewatched it as I was editing this, and it was not nearly as cool as I remember it being. Next up, we got Colton Merton's 30 rep back squat, and I'm actually going to tack on Sam Dancer's 20 rep onto this as well. Colton did his 30 rep at like 365, and Sam Dancer did a 20 rep max back squat at 405, and I remember seeing both of these, and I was just mind blown. What do you mean 30 reps at 365? How is that even possible? Especially for a dude who weighs like 170 or something like that, 180. And Sam Dancer, of course, just obnoxious 405 for 20. If you've ever done a 20 rep back squat, you would know why this stuck with me. It is the most awful workout I could possibly imagine. It sucks so bad. Next up, we got something that actually happened at the CrossFit Games this year. I don't know if you could see it on the live stream, but when I was there in person, Roman would do this thing every time he was coming out of the tunnel. He would run out before they called his name, and then he would stop and look like, and then when they called his name, he'd be like, it was just like a fun little thing that he was doing every time. I wonder if you could catch it on the live stream. Anyway, it was just kind of funny. All right, next up, we got the old people doing workouts with the water jugs in the living room. When I started CrossFit in 2019, these guys were plastered all over CrossFit.com. In 2019, CrossFit had kind of gotten fed up with the like elite fitness and the tip of the spear type of thing, and they were kind of trying to lean into like how useful CrossFit can be for old people and all of this other stuff. And so on the website, there was like this room with this old couch. It was like this old looking like 70s sitcom type of looking room, and they would show people doing the CrossFit.com workouts in this living room. And I just thought it was kind of corny, but it just kind of stuck with me because that was what was on .com when I started. Next up, we got something from, I believe, the 2014 behind the scenes. Rich apologizing to Dave Castro after he sucked in triple threes. I don't know why this stuck with me. I think I've heard some conspiracy theories around it of like Rich and Dave purposefully tried to make Rich look as good as possible because they thought it was good for the sport or something like that. I honestly think it was more of just Rich knew how important it was for the champ to look good, and so he was just apologizing to Dave because of that. But it was just funny. It's just funny that something so minor can cause such a stir in the CrossFit world. Next up, we have the most annoying thing that has ever happened in my life. I think it was 21.1. There was a open announcement and Carrie Pierce was doing it. And there was some girl at this open announcement. Mind you, this was like during COVID time. So there was like no live crowd. It was just the athletes and their families. And someone was yelling Carrie Pierce's name. It was like yelling, "Let's go, Carrie," in the most annoying voice and cadence ever. I got so mad.
Noble CrossFit Games season is a team wall walks, and that was Carrie Pierce is your leader.
We said that onto the rope.
And remember, they cannot take both feet off the wall. Set at 20 minutes. So 300.
I almost added like 4 holes into my drywall. It was the most annoying thing I've ever heard. And it was one of those things where it was like so annoying you couldn't turn it off. You just had to like sit there and watch it and just rage. Oh man. And I know I'm going to have to listen to it to edit this video, and oh my gosh, it was so annoying. If I was working out and someone was yelling at me like that, I would not work out. I would stop. I would leave or punch them in the face. It was the most annoying thing ever. And lastly, this one I will admit I actually got from a reminder, but it was Rosa's Fran mask. Rosa took over CrossFit when he bought it in like 2021 or whatever. And then he did Friendly Fran with a mask on and like pulled it down. And he was like working out, doing Friendly Fran with a mask on. And I think the goal was like to show that the new CEO does CrossFit, unlike some people complain that Greg didn't. But just working out with a mask pulled down under your chin is just so iconic. And I wouldn't say in the good way, but it's iconic. Anyway, those are 10 more things that are randomly ingrained in my brain. Let me know how many you remembered as well. Thanks for watching. Peace.